Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of We Are Legion Live. Tonight, joining us, we have the Metal Birds.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, doing good.
We're still trying to get Sly Rye on the other line. He's having difficulties like I was.
It's all right. It's one of the hazards of doing live streaming.
Yeah,
You're at the mercy of the technological gods.
I know.
Uh, but so why don't you start us off and tell everybody a little bit about the band and where you're all based out of and things like that?
Okay, well, I'm Suzanne Birdie. I'm the lead singer. We're based out of Austin, Texas, and we are the Metal Birds. We are a rock outfit. There's four of us. Me, Sly Rye is the guitar player. We have Kevin Kurtz, he's bass, and Alex Romanoff is drums.
Okay, Romanoff. Interesting because I see you have the American and you have the British flag in there, but Romanoff doesn't sound either one of those. So
No, he's actually Russian.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was. Would have been my first guess.
Yeah. I wonder if he can yeah, like I said, Sly Rye is trying to get on here, but it was difficult for me. It took me a couple minutes.
Yeah, that's who I'm texting over here on the side is I'm DMing him on Twitter. So
Yeah.
uh, we're trying to get everything worked out.
Yeah.
All right, so I was kind of distracted. Where at in Texas were you guys located?
We're based out of Austin, Texas.
Austin. I actually just talked to another band the other day, Tough on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
That is around the same area. So yeah, they're a very good band, and as well as you guys are. I haven't got a chance to listen to as much of your music that I would have liked to have got to listen to. These things have been just so crazy hectic with my day job, and I also got two little kids, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. So I don't have a whole lot of time to invest in this as of now, but we're working more towards getting that way. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you all have been kind of handling things during the pandemic?
Well, since the pandemic, it was tough, the whole thing. So we decided basically we were going to start writing more music, just take the time since we're all stuck at home and since we can't really play out anywhere, without endangering ourselves, which we're not going to do. We just decided to write music, record. We put out an album. We put out two albums actually last year. We finally finished one in July. That was Birds on a Wire. And then we released Life in 20 in October 1st of last year. So we've been just really focused on writing, recording, and trying to get the best music out there as possible. And we're actually currently recording a new EP right now.
Oh,
Right now.
outstanding!
Mhm.
Any imminent release date for that, or
No, not right now. We're just in the beginning processes of this new album. We actually just started last week. We recorded, so far we have 6 songs recorded. So we want to see if we can add to that, or if we are going to stop at that and have this as an EP, or just go on to see if it's a full album or not.
Oh, right on.
Mhm.
So, do you like have a main writer in the band of songs, or is it more just like a group collab effort? How do you?
Me and Sly Rye, we write everything. Between us, it's a group collaboration. Sometimes he takes the reins and he'll come to me and say, "Look, I've written a song," and I'll be like, "Great, I want to hear it," and I'll take a look at it, listen to the words. I might add, I might detract, I might edit, or sometimes, it's perfect, and then I might do the same thing. I'll be like, "Hey, I've written a song. Listen to it," and Or like we'll come together and say, okay, we have a great idea for a song. Let's collaborate and try to figure this out and work it out between two minds are better than one. So, but we do write all the songs. We've had some lineup changes, so we're basically the core band, me and Ryan,
Okay.
and so we do everything, really.
Run on. And so does Ryan? He handle your social media? I take it.
Yes,
Okay.
mostly because I work a lot. So
Oh, I know that feeling.
yeah, so he handles the majority of it because he does first responding, but he has pretty big breaks, and unfortunately since pandemic his hours got cut too. So, he's when he's active, and when he's not. So, but he does most of the social media, yeah.
Run on that. And well, that's good that you guys kind of divvy that up.
Yeah,
One,
we have to. It's a lot. It's a lot to
I
handle.
think we almost got him in to the conversation, but since we have a moment and we'll give him a couple minutes, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you on social media,
Sure,
and if you guys have like a website for merch or anything like that.
Oh yes, so we just have a couple t-shirts for sale at our website, which is www.themetalbyrds.com, and that's birds with a Y, Byrds. We also are very active on Twitter, as you know, and you can find us at the Metal Byrds. Facebook, we're at the Metal Byrds Band, and then on YouTube, you can search for our channel at the Metal Byrds. And Spotify, just search the Metal Byrds. So anything the Metal Byrds with a Y. Yeah. We're on mainly everything. We're on Apple Music, iTunes, Google, Amazon Music. We're on most platforms, yes.
Okay. And do you have like a lot of videos out there on like YouTube or anything like that that they can check you out from like gigs?
Yeah, absolutely. We have Birds on a Wire has the most amount of videos for it. We're still putting out singles for Life in 20. We just dropped a single.
Whoa. What happened here? Well, that was kind of weird. I've never had that happen before. She just automatically just boop, dropped out. And that's kind of a little bit of a surprise. So we'll give it a second here. And she's back. There you are. Just like boom, gone. I was like, okay. Host on the spot here.
Talking, and then it was like, oh, you've been cut off. I was like, oh no, what's happened?
Right on. Yeah.
I was saying, well, I can't even remember what I was saying.
You were telling you said you're mostly with singles for
yes. Yeah, we just released our new single Impossible. Basically, I think it was only 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So we're riding high on that. We hope to have a video out for that soon. And mostly they've been all lyric videos. Yeah. But we do want to shoot a real actual music video. With just, our budget is like that big right now.
That's very understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's Ryan here.
Oh, is he?
We'll get him. There we go.
Oh,
can you hear us?
Really?
I had to look. Hold up. It said you have to restart your phone if it don't want to work. So I restarted. That's what took forever.
Yeah, I had to do that too.
Like I was telling her, no big deal. That's one of the casualties of doing live streaming is you have to bow down to the technological gods every once in a while and deal with the curveballs that they throw you.
Cut off like midstream, mid-sentence. So.
Yeah. I was sitting here trying to see if you had wrote anything more, and then all of a sudden, boom, she was gone, and I was like,
I don't know what happened.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Ryan, and we can go from there.
My name's Sly Ryan. I'm the guitar player. I'm the other brains of the Metal Byrds.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, we've been talking with Suzanne, and I've had her, while we were waiting to see if you can get in, is just telling everybody about your different social media sites and where they can find your music and things like that, just so everybody can get familiar with you. And I know this last year's been pretty crazy, and actually being in Texas, you actually had a kind of advantage over some places because they were a little bit more open than a lot of other places around the country. But it's good that you guys were sitting there focusing on your music and getting lyric videos and things out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's, like I said, it's better to, take the time to write music and try to, put together some great music than, just trying to play out when it's not really possible to. Yeah, even though Texas has been open, it's not really worth it, in our opinion, to play right now.
Yeah,
we don't
it's more conducive to more like solo artists and things like that than it is to actually bringing a band down together and trying to maintain social distancing while you're performing. And I imagine that could be just a major headache trying to get all that. And if you don't have a lot of acoustic stuff where you're by yourself, then it's going to be a big pain. It's just like trying to do this show with a band. We have solo artists who can perform on the show, but as you can see, the way the cameras are set up, it's not very conducive for a band to be able to get on and perform. And that's why I try to get you guys' links blown out there so everybody can go check out all your music as much as they can. Because we don't get the opportunity to play the music on the show. I will, however, in the future be able to do that because I will be upgrading the equipment where I can play a song off of like Spotify or something on the side and through in the video. I'm still working out my soundboard. We have minor disagreements right now, and we're working through it. But
oh, you and the soundboard?
Yes.
The gear's the hardest part.
Yeah,
it's winning right now, but I will have the upper hand eventually. I deal with technology for a living, and it's not going to outsmart me. So you guys have been doing a lot of stuff, writing things like that, putting out the lyric videos, which is very important because that's how people consume their media these days. They don't watch TV. They're not turning on MTV and watching music videos anymore. They're turning on YouTube. They're flipping over. They're streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. And as long as you keep constantly dropping content out there for them and keeping your name in front of them, they're going to remember that. A lot of people, again, would do live streams, but being a band, it makes it a little bit harder to do a live stream. You got to have some pretty nice equipment to be able to do a live stream with a band because you got to have the mics all set up perfect. You'd have to have an amazing sound person for one, and you'd have to have a camera that could come zoom in and out on the band and play like that, and that's all pretty pricey stuff. So,
and then you have to have the time, like because we all work, and it's the time to get together to actually say, okay, we're gonna do this, and
and
no one ever has the time anymore. So.
You're telling me. I mean, like I said, I have a full-time job. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old little boy. When I'm not working, and then I do this in what I call my spare time, and which is there's not a whole lot of it, but I'm pretty much always on social media or something, one or another. I've been kind of annoyed with Twitter the last couple of days because I don't know if yours has been working right or not, but mine's been acting pretty screwy on my phone. It'll just, I'll like try to do a tweet and it'll lock up in the middle of it and it'll just kick me out, and then I have to try to redo the whole tweet again. And whenever I try to DM somebody, it'll freeze up right in the middle of my DM, and I don't know whether it was sent or not. And
that's not good.
Sitting there waiting, and I don't want to resend it and look like a fool, but then again, I need them to get the message. So. But it seems to be working better if I do it over the computer. But whenever on my phone, it's just not been working right. I don't know if it's an Android thing because I have Android, or if it's just their apps,
Twitter thing,
or just their Twitter app thing that is. But it's been kind of acting all kinds of screwing.
Yeah. Well, we struggle with technology too. You know, everything nowadays is computerized. You know, you don't just get out there and plug in your amp and start singing or playing. You know, everything is done through computers, and we we definitely struggle with technology ourselves. You know,
Yeah.
and with the whole pandemic, like you were saying, you know, it's hard for a band to get out there and do live streams and do, you know, get together and do concerts if you don't have all of the equipment right, you know, and that stuff is expensive. And for a band who's
absolutely,
yeah, for us who's doing it everything on our own, it's expensive and time consuming. So, you know, we do what we can.
And well, I want to ask, as you guys are the primary writers for the band, how do you go about getting a completed song? You know, you want to get the different instruments and stuff in there to hear and see, no, we need to change this or whatnot. How do you go about doing that?
Well, since pandemic, we've moved from the barn that we have here on the ranch to Suzanne's house because she's got more equipment now. So then we'll just get everyone there and fight through them, power through them, play what we normally would have played anyway, and then the new stuff comes out.
Yeah, well, I didn't know whether you guys had been able to get the whole band together or not and do that.
Like because, once a month.
Yeah, and it's made it a lot more difficult. Hopefully everything goes well with the vaccine rollouts and things, and we can start. It's been a little bit slower rollout of the vaccines and things, so I'm hoping towards mid to late summer we can start getting back to some sort of normalcy to where I've been telling everybody for months I am a huge fan of live music. I would rather watch live music than stream it or any other thing, listen to it. And I haven't got to see a concert since back before it probably been like, oh man, it was probably a couple months before the pandemic hit. It was like September, October of 19 that I've been to a live show, and I'm just chomping at the bit to get out there and hear some live music, you know. I don't even care what it is, you know. It could be just one guy on the stage with his accordion. I don't care. I want to hear some live music, you know. And which will be beneficial to the artist, because once you are allowed to play shows and they open these venues up, because one, we've lost a lot of venues because of the pandemic. And so the ones that are opening up are just going to be jam-packed with people. People are going to want to get out. They're going to want to hear live music. And it's I tell this to people because some people aren't used to playing sold-out shows, and even the ones that haven't played sold-out shows, I'm like, you're going to sell out for a little bit. Yeah, as soon as it's available, it's going to sell out. People are going to be there. They're going to fill them seats. And it's going to be just a completely amazing experience. So just keep doing what you're doing, trying to battle through the pandemic as best you can, and it's all going to work out on the back end whenever this thing start opening back up.
It's given us a real good opportunity to work on so much new material. We have a lot. We could keep going, but you know, it's the cost of recording and everything else and the time, but even once a month, we always do something, plus play the old stuff.
Yeah.
So it's nice to at least get that.
So what are your plans for when the pandemic ends, everything's open back up? What is your guys' plan? We'll just say for the end of this year, moving forward.
Well, to hopefully have two EPs out, we'd like this year, and to play out and get good footage of it. You know, every time we've played out, we've never had a chance to get any footage because we never pay attention to it and we never cared. This came along and it was like, boy, I wish we would have filmed something.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a disaster. Everyone asking for clips. We have a handful of picks. I mean, that's it. And that's 2 years now, right? That's
it's
crazy.
true. Like since the pandemic started, we've our little ragtag band has blown up, and we're we're much bigger now than we were 2 years, like even a year ago before it started, right? So now that we actually have like a good following going, we would like to play out more and actually record it and put it up on YouTube, so people can see and check us out. Because we were scheduled before the pandemic. We were going to go on some like festivals across Europe, and that pittered out, and that sucks. But hopefully they get those back up and running whenever they can, whenever they open, and we can hopefully head over there to play some cool shows with other bands. And
it's been nice. You know what? Another thing, a lot of bands have reached out because they're in the same position, and they said when this does end, it would be fun to get a show with you. We would drive from wherever, or they would drive. So we've actually met some like-minded. So it's not like a grunt, because we're very traditional rock, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
We're just straight up rock. So we've met a lot more rock people than other people. You know what I mean? That would be a better show to draw in a bigger crowd for that kind of audience.
Yeah, and that was kind of my idea when I started doing my promoting, was to kind of build a community where the bands and stuff could get together. And as sad as it sounds, the pandemic was actually the perfect storm for indie artists, because it forced everybody online to consume that, and the ones who took advantage of working online, dropping content, working their social medias, has grown immensely in following, and so everything's going to be
bands. We're definitely one of those bands. Yeah. And we've taken this opportunity to grow our fan base, which has led to being on your live show.
And I'm glad to have you here, man. You said like on your merch site, you guys got only got a couple of T-shirts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're working on more though, and we just got some stickers too. So come and support us. Buy
stickers. I know that, and I know that stuff is expensive, but I've talked to some other promoters and stuff, and I don't know if you've worked any or heard any of Music Marketing Academy stuff. I did his show back in December. He's out of England.
Spalding.
And
that's the guy I was talking to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we had he interviewed me on the show, and we were kind of brainstorming during that show, and we were just talking about stuff that for merch sites, because they're very important, because people are going to buy your merch. Even you see behind me, I don't know. Here, I got like signed photos. If you could get like a photo of the band, and you could put unsigned photos on there for one price, signed ones on there for another price. Yeah. And
that's
one
a good idea, actually.
One thing that he mentioned that I hadn't even thought of, which is a brilliant idea, is bands were putting on their signed copies of their lyric sheets.
Yeah, we've thought about that too. Yeah, absolutely.
And people will buy that, and just to kind of keep get that little extra bit of income coming in during the course of this pandemic, and people as fans, they will take pride in stuff like that, because they're like, I've had this since no one else knew about this band, and now they're huge, and and it's sort of like a source of pride for fans, and because I've had people tell me that I only got like a couple hundred fans on there, and I was like, so you're going to grow. You're going to grow, and the ones that got that merch at the beginning are like, I was a fan at the beginning before anybody knew who this guy was, and it's really is a source of pride. So, and not only that is they don't even have to be actual photographs. I mean, you could just, this is a piece of paper that was photo paper that was printed, but it came with some other merch that she sent, but
Cool.
just something small like that that has a personal message from the band. You can sell it for a different price than an unsigned one, and that just the little things like that, sign something, a personal message from the band or a band member, just makes it all that much more special. And
Oh,
those are
absolutely.
those are the people who are going to go to your shows, and those are the people who are going to tell their friends. Hey, especially when you start branching out and going on larger tours and things like that. You mentioned that you guys were scheduled like some festivals in Europe right before the pandemic. I was in Poland for my day job right at the break of the pandemic. We flew out 2 days before they closed all flights back to the U.S. We were sweating bullets thinking that we weren't going to get to fly back to the U.S.
Sure.
And luckily we got out right before the Germany actually closed the day after, because we flew from Poland into Germany and then from Germany back to Houston, and Germany closed the day after we flew out of Germany, and Poland was the day after that. So
wow, I'm sure that was scary times. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as I loved my time, because I got to spend a month over there, as much as I loved being over there, I didn't want to stay over there.
Yeah, because you would have still been over there.
Yeah, I mean, even though my day job was paying for my hotel and stuff over there, I don't know if they'd continue to pay for it if I was stuck there because of the pandemic. And,
you would have had to like walk to the coast and then swim.
I would have too, man. I was really missing my boys by the end of that month. I was like, I was ready to get home. Yeah. So, but all right. What are more of your long-term goals for the band?
We try our best to make a hit record, and then do a bunch of this, then some charity work and whatnot. But we really want to write a hit. You know, part of the fun of this is when we first met and we started playing together, outside of the laughs, one of our buddies who introduced us to a lot of indie world radio stations said, you know, this is how it starts nowadays. You get a good popular song and you never know, it could turn into something. So that's been kind of the challenge, right? It's we know we're in a very specific genre, right? In a rock one, but it's still the fun idea to try to write something that's, well, one, we have to like it, but it would be amazing to get somebody behind it to push real money on it. That would be the goal.
And, you know, that's the thing with the live streaming and stuff. Now, that's kind of what my idea for the artist of the day was when I put my whole goal is to put it out there. And like right now, I think I got like 18,400 followers.
Yeah.
And I want people that when they see that artist of the day, everybody retweet it. I don't care who you retweet it, then your fans see it, they retweet. My whole goal is to make an indie artist go viral every day.
That's awesome.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And so just as many people as possible get to hear your music and let them make up their own mind whether they like it or not. And I mean, I do that sort of with where you drop your links every day. I have that. But then at the first of the year, we decided to do the artist of the day where it spotlights one specific indie artist every day. And if I can get an indie artist every day to go viral, I'll be the happiest guy on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you guys are appreciative of all of that as well.
Absolutely, we are. We totally are, because, you know, it's hard. It's a dog-eat-dog world, right? And, you know, we're one of, I'm guessing, millions of indie artists that are all scrambling to get to the top, you know? So any shows that can spotlight any indie artist, you know, whether it be us or whether it be, you know, the band down the street, you know, somebody's got to be a star. You know, there's a lot of talented people. We would like to be the stars, you know, we want to be rock stars ourselves, but the talent in the indie world is amazing, you know, and it to me, it's better than what's going on in the mainstream right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I don't disagree with you one bit. Yeah. And the amazing thing is that some of the more mainstream artists have come out of from the digital world now. They've gotten so popular on YouTube or TikTok and stuff that now they're in the mainstream. That's how they got discovered. And that was my hope for all of this is, I mean, I understand there's record companies are going to do what they do and things like that. And some people just don't want to be signed by a record company because they like being independent. They like doing their music their way. And they just want to do it that way. But there are some that want to get the record contract and get played on the mainstream radio. And for those, it's hard to be discovered. I mean, there's only so many people out there, but maybe someone hears this and they're like, and they know the guy, you're right. And they're like, hey man, you need to hear this. And then the next thing you know, they're coming to a live show and then they're walking up and they're talking numbers with y'all. And if I can get that for you all, then that would be amazing.
That would be great. You know, we were told that, you know, it's harder to get a record deal nowadays because all the record company is looking to make their money back. And that's it. You know, they just want to know that they can turn a profit. They don't really want nowadays to wait for a band to, you know, I don't know what the term is, to like expand, you know, like you can't wait 3 or 4 records. You have to be like, you know, running as fast as you can right out the door nowadays, you know. There's no time for artist development. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. And you know, so we're trying to write the best songs that we can so that we are running right out the door. And hopefully somebody major like listens to us and is like, hey, this band's got something. Like, yeah, we're going to take a chance on them. That's every artist, no matter what genre you're in, dream, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure gone are the days where bands and stuff are going to get signed to like a 3-record or a 5-record deal, because that's just not how people consume music anymore. No. They consume songs one at a time, streaming it on Apple Music or Spotify or whatnot. And so it's all about the singles, really.
Yes.
And I mean, it's nice to have the EPs and the records and stuff that you can sell individually on your websites and stuff like that. But that's not really how people are consuming the music anymore. It's one song at a time. If they like you, they're going to switch over to your channel. They're going to start streaming some more of your music and things like that.
Yeah.
But the more of it that you have out there, the better chance it is that you're going to find one that's going to resonate with a larger audience. And I think you guys are doing absolutely the right thing by spending the time writing, being creative, and having as much as you can. Because once you start doing shows and stuff, you're gonna lose that time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And but if you have it in your back pocket already, then you're like, all right, we're going to practice this song, and you just dust it off and start going. And
absolutely. And we try to write so that every song is a single, you know, because you can't just write filler anymore. You know, it's not albums you're selling. You're right about you're selling a single every single time.
Yeah.
So you got to have you got to have your writing has to be on par every single time.
Yeah. Look, gone are the days where it's a 45 where you have the A-side single and the B-side filler, you know. But I'm dating myself a little bit. I mean, I still remember 45s and cassette tapes, and I was so happy when I got my first portable compact disc player. I was like, oh. But then it skipped all the damn time.
I still have my first compact disc player, and I still have my Walkman, so I'm not letting it go. Yeah.
Does the Walkman still work?
Oh, it does. I tried it maybe like a year ago, and it still had the batteries in it from whenever I put it down, whatever that was. I'm not going to say when that was, but I turned it on, and it still spans. So
I can still remember waiting up at night listening to the American Top 40 with Casey Kasem with my fingers ready on the record buttons for when my song came on to record it, you know. And so
I remember those days. That was the only way to hear your song whenever you wanted to. You had
Yeah.
to be there to hit record. Yeah.
And then, unless you had a fancy tape player, you're listening to the whole side. If your song's at the end of that side, then you're waiting. You're just waiting and waiting.
You can tell the song by the first like note, so you can hit record.
Oh yeah, yeah, and yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, today it's a lot easier. You're like, well, I want to listen to this, so I just type it in, and there it is.
I know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
I fear for kids nowadays because they just have everything right at their fingertips and you can just on their phone. And
I just sit back sometimes and think, man, you know how many hours of my life I'd have back if I had this back when I was a kid. I mean, I can remember calling into a radio station to request a specific song and then having to wait just to see if they were going to play it or not, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, so yeah, I mean, but gone are those days. Now, like you said, everything's right at your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got anything that you want, and if you don't, and which has made it where people's attention spans are just measured in nanoseconds. People today remind me of my 3-year-old. I mean, they'll come up to you and they want something, then 5 seconds later, it's something completely opposite.
Right.
And so if you don't catch their attention in that short amount of time that you have, then they're going to move on to something else. And that's why I say it's good to be putting out the content, the lyric videos, things like that, so your name keeps resonating with them. And then, because if you wait too long, then they're going to completely forget about you and move on to something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And which is sad, because back when I was growing up, sometimes you waited. I mean, it was sometimes years in between albums for some bands.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember it was about the same time that you wore through the cassette tape of their last album. So,
oh yeah, by the time it spun up in the reels, and
yeah, I mean, yeah, the pencil couldn't even save it anymore. You're like, oh man. But
I remember those days. Yeah, but now,
and so keeping content out there today is more important than ever. And I know some people are afraid to embrace the social media and things like that, but you have to adapt, because that's what's going to drive your fame, for lack of a better term. That's where you're going to find most of your fans. Especially now, like during a pandemic, you can't do live shows. They can't come. They can't just wander into the bar and hear you play.
No,
it's just not going to happen. So now you got to hope that they wander across you on social media, and that's why I do what I do. Is it gives you that extra boost to throw it out there, so more people can hear your music, and it's kind of like just them wandering into a bar whenever they run across it on a stream, or the artist of the day or something like that. And it just something to kind of pique the interest, to draw more people in to the artist, is what we're trying to do. And and then
people on social media want, the personal touch too. They want to know that they're talking to a band member, and like I said before, when we first started this interview, Cy Rai is the social media guru of the band. I don't
even know how to get on. I don't even know how to get on Zoom. She makes fun of me because I'm the farthest one behind and all of that.
I know, but he's the one that runs everything, and he does such a great job. And he works really hard at getting new. I don't know how he does it, but
people. These indie stations, every indie promoter, everybody. It's that community that gets us heard. It's not me. They're hearing it, and then we've been very lucky, so that makes it fun.
And we've built a strong community. I mean, we've got radio stations, we've got podcasters, we've got people who write blogs, we have tons of other artists and things like that. And I've tried to bring them all together to where everybody can meet one another, and it really grew faster than what I had planned when I first started. But of course, the pandemic kind of forced everybody online, and we just keep growing bigger and bigger every day. And I see not only my following grow bigger, which I don't even care about my following, other than the fact that the larger my following is, the more people hear your all's music.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get more and more people to watch these shows, so they could kind of get to know the bands a little bit more and get that little personal touch that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And we're really starting to pick up more and more people coming in and watching these, and especially maybe not the live stream of it, because I kind of work around individual artists' time frame when they can do it. Because some artists are just completely busy. They got day jobs or they got other stuff, and so if we work around, we try to find a time that works best for them to come on. Sometimes it's Wednesday, sometimes we have it every day of the week. I've done them like at noon on a Saturday, but still they're out there. The video's out there. It gives them a quality video to have that people can go back and watch later, and kind of judge for themselves. I mean, connecting with a band on a personal level, I believe helps the music. I mean, because then when you're listening, because some people listen to music and some people hear the music. If that sounds not too crazy. No, but there's a difference. I mean, when I know a band and I hear something that resonates with me, I can feel it inside, and I feel like I connect with the band. Some people just listen to music and it's background noise to them, and it's not there. I prefer to hear the music, and I really like to form that connection, and I think this does a good job doing that, because it introduces people on a more personal level, and this is not like your regular interview that you do. I try to keep this kind of laid back, kind of like we're just hanging out, you know. And for solo artists who could do acoustic stuff, they'll get on and they'll play a couple songs and stuff, and it's just like we're all sitting in their backyard just jamming out, drinking a few beers and stuff.
Drinking a few beers.
So if you haven't had a chance to yet, go back and look at some of those other shows, and I try to spread it out as much as possible. I got a lot of country artists on there, but I've also got some hip hop artists and stuff like that, some pop and things of that nature, and of course, and we just try to keep it more as a chill vibe, just so it does feel like they're sitting in your living room or whatnot and just hanging out, having a conversation with you.
Yeah, that's what we want. We're grateful for platforms like this, you know, to showcase that we're people just like everybody else out there.
And I think the way that I've done it is, I mean, I've watched other people's podcasts and things like that, and they do it more of just like a straight interview style, and it kind of makes people uncomfortable. And I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable. I want everybody to come on. They want to have a good time. I want to see their real personality. If they're uncomfortable, then they're guarded and they're kind of hanging back, and they're holding back on me. And I don't want people to hold back. I want to see real feeling and stuff from the artist, and that helps these people connect. And which is one of the most very important things. I mean, as songwriters, I mean, if you're like doing a meet and greet after a show and someone comes up to you and starts talking about one of the songs that you wrote and says, well, it made me feel this way, and then you're like, that person, they get it.
Yeah, that's
they feel they feel exactly the same way I felt when I was writing that song.
Yes.
And I'm not a songwriter, but I can imagine the sense of pride that you would feel in that moment in time.
Oh yeah, it's overwhelming to like have somebody even compliment your song, like your song is great. I love it. I listen to it. I always put it on. Even that alone, like, is the most magical feeling, right? Right?
You quote the lyrics, right?
Oh
Suzanne's had
my
a couple people
gosh.
sing to her, and
I
that was
know.
pretty amazing.
Blown away that, like, yeah, when people like a couple people have started singing the song to me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, wow, it blows me away. I can't, I have no words for it. It's just every time it's like, wow.
I could just imagine just the feeling. I mean, of pride that you would have when you like, wow. I mean, what something I put down and we're putting out is resonating with people,
Yeah.
and they're feeling it. And I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to sleep for days. I'd be so excited. I'd be like, oh, I mean, that's all I would think about. Is like, oh my god, so that somebody gets it. I mean, it's like a teacher that has that one pupil that just picks up everything that they're putting out there without. They're like, yes, they get it.
It's like when one of your kids does something like that's fantastic, and you're just like, I made that.
Yes. And it's like, I did something right. And
yeah, it's that kind of feeling. It's like overwhelming, like pride, and it's like, yeah, I'm actually doing something right, and let's keep going. That's how I feel about it. Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. It's great therapy to not work, and when you get out of work, and you know how work is, it has to be done. But when you get a chance to play, it's such a wonderful feeling especially when we think it sounds good, right? Then it's fantastic.
Like, we get excited. Me and Rye get excited when we finally like complete a song, and then we like record it, and all the parts are done, and we get to listen to it. And we get excited when we know the song is good. It's like, there was one time, was it like a couple weeks ago, where we finished the song on this new album that we're working on, and I started crying, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be a great song. You remember that? And he was like, what's wrong with you? What did I do? And I was like, no, I'm just excited.
That's not how I remember it all, actually.
Tell your side of the story, right?
Sorry. It was like that. It was fun. Everybody was there, so the combination of when we were listening to what we thought was good, and now we have to. So that was great. It was great.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting feeling. Yeah, it's definitely overwhelming.
Okay, so here's a question for both of you. Say you have two songs. One of them you guys just know it's a great song, and other one you feel kind of all right about it. But after the show, someone comes up and they're really talking about the one that you just feel like it's all just okay, but they're really pumped about it. Which one are you more happy with?
The one that to me, it's the one that got the person excited. Yeah.
Because, like I said, I'm not a songwriter and things like that, but sometimes when I do my best work, I feel like I haven't done my best work, but other people think that you've really outdone yourself this time. And then that feeling just completely blows me away. It's like, wow, I thought I completely bombed that, you know? And then it's like when you took a test and you're like, oh man, I don't want to see the results of that. And you get it back and you got it 100% on it. And you're like,
oh yeah,
what?
You're like, I really thought I failed that right.
It was like,
I remember like in an art history class I once took, the professor said, art is not for the artist, it's for the audience. So it's your audience that really drives the artist, right? I mean, it's for them. It's not for
Yeah.
you. Once you make it, it's not yours anymore. It's to put out there, just like a painter, or painters don't paint for themselves. They paint for their audience. We're artists and we play for our audience. So if they love it, that's the best that we can do.
Absolutely. And I mean, it would, I mean, to me, if it was me and you got something that you just know is just a banger, and you're like, it's gonna be off the charts. And you play that, and people do connect with it, but it's the ones that you think that maybe could use a little tweaking, and then it turns out to be
What people wanted.
what people wanted. And I mean, you never know what it is that's going to resonate with an individual, because everybody has different views on things and different feelings at different times. And even if it was something that is completely out of the scope of what the song was supposed to be, can resonate with someone with a different feeling. And there you go. I mean,
yeah, that's putting it into great words right there. Yeah.
Some of the biggest hits from bands in the '80s, like Poison and stuff, were actually B-sides of other songs that actually people that was just on there to fill the 45. And when people flipped it over, it resonated, and then the bands were like, wow, I can't believe that I wrote that song in 11 minutes, Right.
Right. It's the songs that the bands don't think that was right. Like Ryan likes to tell me the story of the Kiss one, right? With Detroit.
I read that one. Beth in Detroit Rock City. I was reading that was the single, and the DJs kept flipping it over to the Beth side. How weird is that, right?
Yeah. Poison, Something to Believe In. The B-side of that was Unskinny Bob.
No. I didn't know that.
Bret Michaels actually wrote that in 11 minutes, sitting in the studio, because CC DeVille brought a hooker into the studio with him to record Something to Believe In. And Bret Michaels wrote that song in 11 minutes as a joke, and they put it on the B-side, and it turned out to be just as big a hit as the A-side.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah. So you just never know.
I listened to that song yesterday in my car, and I was just singing along to it. That's pretty funny.
Now we know the message. I love it. That's even better. That's even better.
Yeah, so that's where it came from. CC brought a hooker into the studio, and Bret was making fun of him, and it turned out to be one of their bigger hits. So you never know what's going to resonate with people, and
I just hope Ryan doesn't do that one day. That's all.
Whatever.
If you think about it, I mean, the contrast to the songs are completely if you listen to Something to Believe In, it's a real serious song and something like that, and then you flip it over and it's Unskinny Bop, which is just completely wild and just something fun and out there. And I mean, that gives you complete mood switch in there, and I can see why it resonated. But it's just a fun song to play, and it's even more fun when you actually know where it came from.
Yes.
That I got that. I learned that from the old VH1 Behind the Music with Poison. So
those were great. I learned a lot about those classic bands from there.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a ton of stuff from those things, and they're great. I wish they still did those, Maybe I can start one up, and we could do like a behind the music for indie bands.
Oh, that would be
and
great.
Stuff like that. And
I'm sure there's some wild stories from behind the scene from indie bands. Yeah.
You have no idea where some people bring their inspiration from, and I'm sure that just because you don't have the big money and stuff doesn't mean that there ain't some wild stories behind some of the stuff that you all are putting out. And I think it would be great time. And again, it would just give people another way to kind of identify with the bands and say, you know, I did some stupid crap like that myself. You know, it kind of puts it kind of humanizes you, especially the bigger the band gets, the farther away their fans feel from them. But then they hear stuff like that. You know, I done crazy stuff like that. It kind of brings them back down into that level. And
I guess that's why everyone loves, you know, like the band's movies, you know, of I still haven't seen the Motley Crue movie, but Ryan saw it and he said it was crazy.
You haven't seen that? That is awesome.
I haven't seen it yet. It's been on my list for quite a while to see.
Put that at the very top of your list.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay.
That is a very good movie, and of course I was a big Motley Crue, and I'm a huge hair band fan growing up, and so Motley Crue and Poison, and Slaughter and Warrant, all those '80s bands, and the big fan of power ballads and stuff like that. I know some people would be like, "Yeah, you're old, this guy." But that's my favorite stuff. But I listen to everything, and I just love music in general, and trying to, especially these days. Back then, everything was pretty well set in genres. You know, you were either rock, you were country, you were hip hop, you were R&B. But now everything's kind of mingling. They're crossing genres a lot and bringing different elements in there. And I would say now more than any time in history that music is truly music, and we have come to genreless music to some extent. Because you could take a song and put it into 3 or 4 different genres. Yeah. And it would do just as well in any of the genres, which is really exciting. And adding the different elements in there has made things a lot more interesting. Have you guys, I know you guys are primary old school rock band, but have you thought about adding any stuff in there like that, or maybe trying to add some hip hop in there, like even Aerosmith did it with Run DMC. Come on, Walk This Way was huge. Or more like more modern, more like a Linkin Park did, where they have the rock with the hip hop in there. Yeah. Have you guys thought of doing anything like that, or you just guys prefer more comfortable sticking with the old school type of rock?
Well, Suzanne,
we're more comfortable sticking with the old school rock, but we have some songs that have elements of like country a little bit. I mean, our single "Tell Me" is almost, some people have said it's like a country crossover song. So, but we haven't done anything with like hip hop or rap or anything like that.
I mean, that was just an example.
But it's fun to use the different influence like that, because we never played with an acoustic, but that song "Tell Me," you know, we had sat around and tried the idea for a long time, and we actually had the song. And Suzanne said the time's now to try it, because this whole Life in 20 record that we made, everything's different. It's a little punk, it's a little classic rock, it's a little, you know.
Heavy metal.
That's what we like doing anyway, right? Again, we're first. We want to just jam out some songs.
Yeah, we're rock, but we're not like, you know, a certain type of rock. A lot of people don't really understand us because we kind of cross the blurred lines of rock. You know, like we have some metal songs, and then we have, you know, like a country crossover song, and then we have more of a pop song, and then so we do try to branch out a little bit, but we feel comfortable with the rock aspect, you know.
And I kind of I think you're going to find that there's more and more people that are going to engage with you because you do have a gamut. You have a spectrum of the rock that you do. But I mean, I mean, it's great if you're a band and you just want to do heavy metal, okay?
Yeah.
But if you can do heavy metal and mix it with some softer rock or some more classical type of rock, and even add some elements of country in there, you're good. All you're doing is you're broadening your scope of people that will come in and watch. Because, as I said, today more than any other time is you're cross genre with a lot of stuff, and people are charting on different charts with the same song, and it's okay, because you're just growing your audience by being doing that. You're making yourself more flexible as a band, and
we rather not be as rigid as some bands want to be, like staying in your specific like little tiny bubble is not, people want nowadays, especially more than any time in history, people want variety. You want variety in everything, in every aspect of life, and people want variety in their music too. And to have a band that gives you a little bit of variety, I think that that's more appealing than not. And we try to, that's what we do. And if some people don't get us, then we love what we do, right?
Okay. Yeah. Here's a question. As an indie band, do you guys play strictly your own music, or do you also do some covers and things of that nature too when you do a gig?
We used to, when we first started, the first gig we did, we opened with The Trooper by Iron Maiden. Suzanne wanted to send a signal. Look, I'm a little tiny singer, but I'll show you pipes, so that so that
will do it.
Yeah.
That will do it.
We sometimes, we haven't really played out since pandemic, but before we would throw our songs in with, other songs. Like I have no problem singing The Trooper or Sweet Child of Mine, or a little bit of Pat Benatar, a little whatever,
Well, the reason why I ask that is because a lot of times whenever they play gigs like, play like smaller bars and stuff like that, a lot of the times some of the music comes up with people won't request, and that's why I asked like that. And being able to spread it out, you're going to be able to pull in a larger audience, because you can do that. And that's why I asked that question. It wasn't to downgrade or anything of the band, because I mean, some people just don't have enough original music at this moment in time to be able to play a full set of their own original music. You guys sound like you've been preparing a lot better, and you would be more capable of doing that. And I just wasn't for sure. And
11:30 at night, Sweet Child of Mine, somebody will say it. Suzanne will nail it, because she can do all the Axl parts. So, and then everyone likes it, right? Everyone's used to that, so then you can go back to whatever we were doing.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that's going to grab their attention back to the stage and get them to listen more to your music that you drop on the next song, I'm all for it, man. I have nothing against shamelessly plugging your own stuff to try to get it to sell, and things like that, and little things like doing shows like this. Maybe you won't get a huge record deal someday, but maybe you'll find some people that'll start sponsoring the band. Things like that, and to wherever you can go out on, do some larger tours and play festivals and things like that. Especially, I don't know if you look at your analytics on your social medias to where your audience is coming from. Do you do any of that?
Yeah, we do. Okay. The largest part of our audience right now is in Europe, believe it or not.
I've had people come up and say, you know what, you told me about looking at my analytics. I started looking at it, and 90% of my music's being streamed in Japan. I would have never thought that my music was going to be, but in Japan, it's just where most of my stuff is streaming. And so finding little pockets like that. I mean, if you see on your analytics that most of your streams are coming from Eastern European countries, well, maybe you can do an Eastern European tour, and you already have a built-in fan base before you get over there of people that are going to buy tickets. So really pay attention to those analytics and see where your fans are coming from and where your music's being streamed, because we have a lot bigger world than just the United States, and it's one thing to be huge here in the United States, but we've grown worldwide now. You can be huge in a lot of different places, and their money spends just as well as the U.S. money does. You know?
Oh yeah, it does.
So, and it's not always about just the money either, but just the fact that, I mean, you want to go as an artist and play sold out shows, and I mean, if you can play, if you had your choice to play in here in the States to say a 5,000 seat arena, or you had a chance to play the O2 Arena in London, which one? And it's sold out. Which one are you going to want to go play?
That's
you want to go play the damn? Yeah, you want to go play the O2 Arena. So paying attention to those analytics and knowing where your fans are based out of, and who your fans really are, kind of sets things. And it'll tell you, all right, well, maybe we need to do some more softer, more poppier type of rock and roll to maybe hit the younger demographic, or maybe you're happy you're hitting exactly where you want to hit, and you just want to stay on course. That'll tell you that, and it also tells you how to market your music and where to go through. I mean, you're not going to want to waste a whole lot of time dropping tweets in the middle of the night. If your target market's Eastern Europe, you don't want to drop it in the middle of the night when they're sleeping. You want to drop it in the middle of the day when they're awake, and it's the middle of the night here while you're sleeping. So you want to schedule your tweets and stuff to drop whenever your prime audience is going to see them, and that's going to just help you grow and grow and grow. So definitely keep up on those analytics.
Yeah, we've been analytic obsessed since day one, basically. The first day we got on Bandcamp, we were just like, oh, where's it being played? Where's it being played? Where's it being played? And we were like that until we started getting on the radio. And now we're like, where are we being played? Where are we being played? We are analytic obsessed people over here.
And yeah, I mean, I've connected with so many indie stations, I mean, everywhere. I'm talking Australia, all over Europe and Canada, and South America. There's just tons of indie stations on there that are playing music now, and it makes me kind of chuckle to see some of these smaller indie artists that never really thought of outside their own area.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you gotta focus much bigger now. The world literally is your oyster. You're not just playing for your local towns anymore. I mean, you're playing for the world, and the more you can get.
That's the surprising part right there. That is the surprise. I would have never guessed we could get regular plays. Let's say in England, right? That just amazes me.
And
it's amazing.
But you got to kind of shift your focus to that, because even you can start out, and even though you don't seem to be catching on here in the States, but then next you're blowing up in England. Well, the next thing you know, that's eventually going to come back across.
Trickle back,
It's going to trickle back, and then you're going to start blowing up here, because we're a 24-hour world now. I mean, people are not just sitting here listening to the same FM stations that they've always listened to because it's in their radius. They're listening to stations that are in England, in Canada, in Australia. They're listening to stations all over the world that they can tune in at the touch of their fingers on their computers now.
Yeah.
And the more people you can try to reach out and touch with your content, the better off you are as a band. And you don't have to just limit it anymore to doing gigs and hoping people show up at your gigs in your local area. Just put the content out there, let everybody decide for themselves, and get in touch with other promoters that do like I do, and just retweet your stuff out and blast it out so more people can hear it. Even the law of averages says 10%. So even every 10, would you rather have 10% of a million or 10% of 1,000? You know.
Right.
Just get the content out there and let everybody decide for themselves, and you're gonna see steady growth like you have been seeing. Did you guys expect to see us kind of growth?
Oh my gosh, when we started, we had no clue what we were doing or what we were even expecting. And then the first time we got played on the radio, we've just seen an uptick, and every time it's mind-boggling because it's been like we had no expectations whatsoever.
That people would like it and then tell you. We're blown away, grateful, because in our little circle, we only know these songs, and then never expected anyone to dig us. Never.
And one of the things that's really impressive is if I drop you a DM, you respond rather quickly, and you would be surprised. Some people like DM, and it takes a week or so before they even get back to me. I had a show last night that was supposed to be scheduled last night. Well, I DM'd the artists. They don't check their DMs. Some artists don't. And because I wanted to familiarize myself and I wanted to know where to drop the link at, but I was talking to their manager as well. Well, their manager ended up being sick, and she didn't pass on the information to the artist. So I'm sitting here, and then I was like, all right, well, I actually ended up talking to him and rescheduling for Thursday. But it's very important if you're going to do stuff like this that if you can't make it, we understand. Just get back to us, and we can reschedule. And it's very appreciative that if it's somewhat prompt. I mean, I understand that people are busy. Like I said, I got over 18K followers. My DMs, I get several hundred DMs every day. It's hard to answer all of them back, but I try to prioritize the ones that are I know are going to be come up on the show, or if I do collab work with them outside. We have a question over here from the audience. It's been there for a while, and I just missed it because I was rambling on. But do you guys have like a Patron account for people to follow?
A Patron account? Well, no, we don't. But you can subscribe to our website at www.themetalbyrds.com. You can subscribe. We are in the process of starting to maybe send out flyers, once we get some shows on, you can follow us and see where we're going to be playing, when things start opening back up. But all of our information, where we're going to be played on the radio is on there. Our interviews are always, I always post interviews, stuff like that on there. So yeah, that's the quickest way to follow us is, or subscribe to us on our website. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Is it just a regular email subscription, or do you have paid subscriptions?
No, we don't have any paid subscriptions. It's just a regular email. You just pop in your email, and when I send out a blast email to everybody, with our what's what with the Metal Byrds, then you'll get it and you can see what we're up to right now. But right now we're, like I said, we're just writing songs and trying to take it one day at a time and not get sick, and just.
Right.
Yeah, I hear that.
Right. Just take it one day at a time. That's it.
Yeah, that's all you can do at this point in time is just
That
take
was
it
an
one day
awesome
at a time.
question, though. Yeah, that was an awesome
Yeah, and
question.
well, a lot of people, artists have been doing to the different things like Patron and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and it's really not that bad idea where you can do the different tiers of subscriptions to
Hmm.
where they can pay to get like private messages or sneak peeks of upcoming
Right.
releases and stuff like that,
Right.
and it's just another way to kind of bring in some revenue to the band. Being a band, though, it would be kind of harder to do like that
Mm.
unless you like give everybody access and you had different members of the band do private messages to
Right.
people and stuff like that. It'd be a lot easier after, say, the pandemic than it would be
Yes.
during the pandemic. It's a lot easier for solo artists, and
Yeah. It is, especially when you live far away from like like the other band members and you have to actually schedule yourself to see them. Yeah, it's pretty
yeah,
difficult. Yeah.
exactly. All right. Well, I've had an amazing time tonight. You guys were great guests, and I'll be more than happy to have you back on any time that you
Oh,
want to.
thank
You know how to get a
you.
hold of me with through my
Yeah.
DMs, and anytime. Definitely let me know if you are going to be dropping some new music. Let me know if you're doing like any pre-saves or anything beforehand, and I will get that stuff blasted out.
Absolutely.
Uh, and make sure. Yeah, make sure you keep me up to date on anything with the band, and I will do that. I'm gonna have to get on your website and get some merch ordered. I like to wear this is these. Most of the stuff that I wear on the show is
Yeah.
actually merch for people that I indie bands that
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
that's
I and
awesome. Yeah.
like this hat is from a country artist, Chloe Caroline, that
Oh,
I just got. She just dropped her debut, and I got that, and yeah, it's just I do little things like that to really
that's
help out,
awesome.
and so yeah, I'll have to get on your site and get a shirt or some
Yeah.
stickers and stuff, and
Yeah. Well, we have like the sticker right here for,
nice,
the metal
nice.
birds, and we have a couple shirts, like I said, and it would be great, to help support our our little ragtag
Yes.
band,
Okay,
basically.
all right, and before
Yeah.
we go, I'm glad you showed that sticker. I want you to go ahead and tell everybody again where they
Yeah.
can find your music and your sites and stuff, so they know how to
Okay.
locate that stuff.
That'll be me, right? Yeah, you can find us again. Our website is www.themetalbirds.com. You can find us on Twitter. We're very active on Twitter at the Metal Birds. Facebook, we're at the Metal Birds Band. Our YouTube page or channel is the Metal Birds. Everything Metal Birds. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, Apple Music, Tidal,
Say it.
iHeartMusic. What?
Deezer. Deezer's the
And
last.
Deezer. And Deezer. And Deezer. Yes, all the major platforms you can find our music on. And again, check out our videos on YouTube. Yeah, and we should have some like real music videos for you pretty soon, but we have a bunch of flirt videos right now up. So come and check us out. Yeah. Buy some music, buy
Yeah.
some merch. Yeah. Come
Out,
support us. Yes.
outstanding.
And support other indie bands too. Indie
Yes.
bands could use any support they can get. Yeah.
We have a very good audience, and our a lot of the people over here are actually indie artists themselves that
Yeah.
come out here and watch and support other indie artists, and
Yes.
which is really big for me is just to build that tighter community of supporting one another and getting everything out
Yes.
like that. But again, it was such a pleasure having you all on the show tonight.
This has
Thank
been a
you.
blast.
More than welcome to come back anytime. Even if you just want to hang out and just have another chat session, I'm down for it. Uh,
Awesome.
and like I said, make sure you notify me on all your social platforms.
Oh, we will.
Every time, anytime that you're going to be dropping something new, and I'll make sure I get it blasted out for everybody to see, and we'll
Awesome.
try to
Yeah.
get you guys out there, and hopefully I can make my way down to Texas and catch a show sooner rather than later.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh yeah. Where are you located?
I'm in Kansas City. I'm in Kansas City, so you guys are about a 10-hour drive.
So you must be happy right now, right? I mean, your Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
You know what? I've been a Chiefs fan my entire life, and I'm not even going to lie. When they won the AFC Championship last year, I was in Poland and I cried. I was in my hotel room. I was so happy. I did the same thing back a few years ago when the Royals got back into the World Series. I was just so many years of being close and or being so terrible. It was just being a lifelong fan of those teams and finally seeing it. And, I thought it was me. I was like, the only reason they won it last year is because I wasn't even in the country. But then they proved me wrong. They proved me wrong again this year because they made it back. And
well, just for you, just because it's you, I'm going to root for Kansas City this year. Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And she doesn't do that. She just doesn't
never do that. Never.
Oh, yeah. Who's your team?
The Ravens.
The Ravens?
Yeah.
Sorry to hear about that. No, my ex was a Ravens fan. That's why.
Ask Rye who his team.
Yeah. What, Suzanne?
Who's your team, Rye?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Lions.
The Lions. You know what? There's no shame in that. There's none. I mean, one of these days they're going to get that thing turned around right going on in there. I mean,
every year is their year.
Well, I remember being in that same spot for my entire life. So don't ever give up hope. It took 42 years before my team finally paid off for me. So there was 42 years of this is our year, and so.
Well, this is your year, so.
Yeah, you're gonna. And hopefully we have a few more. I mean, we got a pretty decent quarterback, so
true.
So we might have a few more chances. But
well, good luck.
Yeah, I was always kind of a semi-Lions fan. I mean, Barry Sanders, one of my favorite players of all times. I could sit there and watch video with no sound of him just running the football all day. So. It's just a thing of beauty, and so but you guys will get there, and you guys got a new coach now, and
that's
hopefully
true.
Hopefully we can start getting it turned around up there in Detroit.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All right, well we're gonna go ahead and sign off here tonight, but you guys have an amazing evening and keep in touch and let me know what's going on so we can blast it out. All right, best of luck to all of you.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having us.
Been a great.
Bye.
All right, everybody. That was the Metal Byrds. Please go out and check out their music and check out some of their sites. You've seen their stickers. Maybe go out and get a T-shirt or something, and maybe you'll see me wearing one on the show sooner rather than later. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Before we go, there's something that I want to bring up that just completely gets out of hand. There was an incident recently where they just got completely just blown up for no reason. On Twitter, and it was just I don't even know why really it started or whatnot, but trolls and bullying online really isn't something that I would hope that especially our community would engage in. The best way to handle stuff like that is to not engage the people directly. Don't even mention their name when they want to troll and do stuff like that. It's not really even worth their time to do so, because really all you're doing is validating what they're saying when you give them that attention. And that's what really they're looking for anyways, is they're trying to grab a hold of your star and pull the attention back to themselves to lift themselves up. And we really shouldn't engage people like that. I know people say some really, really dumb crap all the time, and there's always people that want to troll, and all they do it for is recognition. And I like to think that we have enough good quality people in our communities that we've built here that we don't even have to engage in public wars of words with people. They don't even deserve that type of attention from us. We got bigger things going on, and you never know what someone's going through at the time when they're doing it. I mean, everybody has good days and bad days. I know me, as going through like depression and things like that, is I'm one of the hardest people in the world to offend with anything. I mean, most of the time I'm pretty laid back and I let stuff slide. I mean, I understand a joke's a joke and things like that. Some people don't. And, but there's also days where something that normally wouldn't offend me just really just hits me wrong because of my depression and things like that. And I get a different response or give a different response. So what I'm really trying to get at is just try to be as kind as possible online. And if you do have to engage people online, try to do it more in a private setting. Take it to the DMs or something like that. Just not to validate those people. It's not worth it to give credence to those people. They've done nothing but try to tarnish your shine. And I know we're all better than that in this group. And we will continue to thrive regardless of the haters. Because I know there's a lot more people out there that enjoy what you all do and what I do than there are haters out there. And I know the knee-jerk reaction sometimes, especially if you're having a bad day, is, all right, this person just directly assaulted me or one of my good friends online. And when you're having a bad day, I know it's very hard not to react. We just gotta try our best not to react to those situations, because those people really aren't worth it. And we need to move on and let those things just die off on their own. The less you engage those people, the less that stuff's going to happen. And I know some people have had major league like stalkers because they've engaged those people and they try to, and they had the best of intentions trying to get rid of those people. But the more that you show them any attention, the more they're going to come after you, is what I'm trying to get across. And so if you kind of just brush them to the side and just keep moving like you don't even know that they're there, then they're going to give up a lot sooner, and they're going to try to move on to someone else who's going to give them that attention. So I'll step down from my soapbox after that, but I really wanted to put that out. And for those of you that are still here, we will have another show on Thursday night with a new artist who just released her first solo out there. And also for all of the great fans who helped get it to the mark, Friday night will be the hula show, where I will wear the hula outfit for the entire show. Friend of the show and Honey Bone Rush has agreed to be the interviewee for the show, and we're going to have a good time with that, and I will wear the hula outfit for the entire show. And we're just going to have a real good time with it. That will be Friday night, so make sure that you tune in Thursday and Friday night for those shows. And yes, we're going to have the coconut bra. It's going to be there. It's all going to be there in all my glory. You're going to see it. And because I am a man of my word, and when I make a promise, the reason why it took so long is I had to find a willing participant to be on the other end of the camera from me. Pinky, that show will be Friday night, 8:30 Central Time. I will send you out a reminder. You definitely will not want to miss that. But what I was saying is I didn't want to just take a show like we were having tonight and me sitting here in a coconut bra and distracting from the band that was there if that's not what they wanted to. Friday, he's been on the show before, so he kind of knows how it goes, and we're just going to sit down and have a good chill time and just basically make fun of me for an hour or so. And because I will come through on what I told you all. But with that, I mean, there's really nothing I can say to top that off. I mean, it's going to be, yeah, you're not going to be the only one drinking, I'll tell you that right now. But I will come through, and that show will be Friday, and I will definitely let you know. I don't want to advertise it until after we do the Thursday show because I don't want to take away from that young lady's viewership and things like that. And let's just have a good time with it, and let's just be kind to everybody online as much as we can, and keep moving forward because we got a great thing going, and we're gonna be bigger than the haters, guys. So on that note, we will see you on Thursday. Thank you again for coming out, and we'll talk to you later.